Hello everyone, I'm Bubbles from Susan's family. Today, I'd like to introduce to you the Herbal Chronicle series Dawn Blossom Blanket. For this electronic tutorial, you can check it on the website en.sussudiy.com. This blanket consists of motifs and edging. First, crochet the motifs, and then add the border. It consists of several different types of motifs, which we will refer to as large motif 1, large motif 2, small motif 1, and small motif 2. First, crochet the first individual large motif 1, then crochet the remaining large motif 1s and large motif 2s. When crocheting the last round of the remaining large motifs, you need to refer to the schematic and join them with the corresponding motifs. After all the large motifs are completed, fill in the small motifs along the edges. Let's start by learning how to crochet large motif 1. Begin with the chain ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The stitch used include chain stitch, double crochet, DC5 popcorn stitch, half double crochet, and slip stitch. Next, please watch the demonstration. Start with a chain stitch. Hold the yarn with your left hand. Hold the hook with your right hand. Make a slip knot first. This slip knot does not count as a stitch. Slightly tighten it. Adjust the loop size. Then crochet 5 chain stitches. After completing them, join the chain stitches into a circle. Make sure all the right sides of the chains are facing up. Place the starting yarn tail above the ending yarn tail. Insert the hook into the front loop of the first chain stitch. Make 1 slip stitch to join. Pull tight. This way, the foundation chain is completed. Now for the first round. The first stitch is a DC5 popcorn stitch. Start by making 3 beginning chains. These 3 chains count as 1 double crochet. Next, work 4 more double crochets into the starting ring. As you crochet, keep the starting yarn tail above the hook, and weave it in as you go along. Including the beginning chain, that counts as a double crochet. You now have 5 double crochets completed. Then, enlarge the loop on the crochet hook. Remove the hook from the loop. Then insert the hook into the third chain from the beginning, which is the braid on the right side of this stitch. Pick up 2 strands and insert them. Next, insert the hook into the loop that was left. Adjust the size of the loop. Then draw the loop through. As you pull through, use your middle finger to push the previous double crochets forward. This will make the completed stitches stand out. Finally, make 1 chain to secure. 1 DC5 popcorn stitch is now completed. Because we started with a turning chain, the technique here is a bit special. Next, make 2 chains for transition. Then work the next DC5 popcorn stitch. Start by making 5 double crochets in the hole from the foundation chain below. Pay attention to weaving in the yarn tail. After completing it, stretch the loop and remove the hook. Insert the hook into the first stitch of these 5 stitches. Then insert it into the loop that was left. Draw the loop through. Pay attention to pushing your finger forward. Then make 1 chain to secure. Another DC5 popcorn stitch is now completed. We'll refer to it simply as a popcorn stitch from now on. Next, make 2 chains for transition. Then in the hole from the foundation chain below, work another popcorn stitch. Another popcorn stitch is now completed. Next, make 2 chains for transition. This round involves working popcorn stitches into the holes from the foundation chain. Make 2 chains as a transition between each stitch. Follow this pattern to complete the remaining part of this round. When space gets tight, move the completed stitches to the right. After completing the last popcorn stitch, work 1/2 double crochet into the first popcorn stitch. Insert the hook into the starting chain of this popcorn stitch. And work 1/2 double crochet here. This way, the first round is completed. The starting yarn tail has already been hidden around this circle. If there's any excess, trim the excess part. Then move on to the second round. Make 3 chains to start, which counts as 1 double crochet. These 3 chains count as 1 double crochet. Next, insert the hook into the position of the 1/2 double crochet from the previous round, and work 2 double crochets here. Then make 3 chain stitches for a transition. Next, in the chain space between the 2 popcorn stitches on the left side, work 3 double crochets. Make another 3 chain stitches for a transition. Then work 3 double crochets in the left chain space. This round involves working into the chain spaces between the popcorn stitches from the previous round, specifically the spaces between the popcorn stitches. Work 3 double crochets in each of these spaces. Between every 3 double crochets, make 3 chain stitches for a transition. Refer to the chart to complete the remaining part of this round. After completing the last 3 double crochets, make 1 chain stitch. Then insert your hook under the 2 strands of the 3rd braid from the beginning chain, and work 1/2 double crochet. This way, the second round is now complete. Next, we'll work on the third round. Start with 3 chain stitches as a turning chain. Then work 1 double crochet in the hole below. Follow this by working 1 double crochet at the position of the starting chain on the left side. Then work 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 adjacent stitches. Next, work 4 double crochets in the left chain space, with 3 chain stitches as a transition in between. After completing this, work 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches on the left side. For this round, you will be working 1 double crochet in each stitch from the previous round, and 4 double crochets in each chain space, with the double crochets in the chain spaces, always having 3 chain stitches as a transition in between. Refer to the chart to complete this round. After working the last 2 double crochets, work 1 slip stitch. Then work 1/2 double crochet on the turning chain. This way, round 3 is completed. Continue to round 4. Start with 3 chain stitches as a turning chain. Then work 1 double crochet in the hole below. Next, work 1 double crochet at the position of the starting chain on the left side. Then work 1 slip stitch. Next, skip the first stitch below. Start from the second stitch on the left. Work 3 double crochets in sequence. After completing them, work 1 slip stitch, then skip 1 stitch. Work 1 double crochet in the second stitch on the left. Next, work 4 double crochets in the chain space. In the middle, make 3 chain stitches as a transition. Continue to follow the chart for the next steps. Complete the remaining part of this round. This way, the 4th round is completed. Now, work on the 5th round. Start with 3 chain stitches as a turning chain, then work 1 double crochet in the hole below. Next, work 1 double crochet at the top of the beginning chain. Then continue to pick up stitches and work double crochets. Note that you don't need to crochet into the middle chain stitch position. Continue to complete this round. The 5th round is completed. Now, continue to complete the 6th round. After completing the last 3 chain stitches of the 6th round, join with a slip stitch into the beginning chain. Insert the hook into the 3rd chain of the beginning braid, and make 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. This way, the 6th round is completed. Secure with a chain stitch. Leave a tail of about 5 centimeters and cut the yarn. Pull the yarn tail through. Then, following the texture, weave in the reserved tail on the wrong side of the fabric. After weaving in several stitches, trim any excess tails. This way, the first large motif is completed. Next, following the joining diagram for the piece, proceed to crochet the next motif in sequence, that is, large motif 2. Large motif 2 is divided into section 1 and section 2. Section 1 starts with crocheting the center flower. Then complete the surrounding flowers in sequence. The new stitch techniques are all marked on the chart, so I won't list them one by one. Now, let's demonstrate. Start with a slip knot. Chain 3. Then join with a slip stitch to the first chain. This forms a circle with the chain. Insert the hook into the outside half loop of the first stitch. Pull tight. The beginning chain is now complete. Next, work the first round. Make 1 beginning chain. Then work 6 single crochets into the starting chain ring. Pay attention to weaving in the yarn tail. Once completed, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet stitch. Pull tight. This way, the first round is now complete. Next, work the second round. Make 1 beginning chain. Then work a SC2 in 1 into the first stitch of the previous round. That is, work 2 single crochets into the same stitch. A SC2 in 1 is completed. Next, work a SC2 in 1 into the next stitch on the left. Another SC2 in 1 is completed. For this round, you will work a SC2 in 1 into each stitch of the previous round. Everyone finish the remaining stitches. After completing the last stitch, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Pull tight. The second round is now complete. Next, work the third round. Start with 2 chains. Then, in the second stitch of the previous round, work 1 double crochet. Then work 1 treble crochet in the same position. Yarn over the hook twice. Insert the hook. Yarn over, draw the yarn through. Yarn over again, draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 3 times. Once. Twice. 3 times. 1 treble crochet is now complete. Next, work 1 more treble crochet in the same stitch. Yarn over the hook twice. Insert the hook into the same stitch below. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over again. Draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 3 times. Another treble crochet is now complete. Next, work a picket stitch with 2 chain stitches. Start by making 2 chain stitches. Then insert the hook into the front loop of this treble crochet stitch. And pick up the strand on the left. Make 1 slip stitch. CH2 picket stitch is now complete. We'll refer to this as a picket from now on. Next, work 2 treble crochets and 1 double crochet in the next left stitch. After completing those, make 2 chain stitches. Then make 1 slip stitch in the next left stitch. We consider all these stitches as one group. Starting from the initial 2 chain stitches and ending with this slip stitch, it forms one group. There are a total of 4 such groups in this round. Let me demonstrate another group. Start by making 2 chain stitches. Then work 1 double crochet and 2 treble crochets in the next left stitch. Followed by a picket stitch. That is, start with 2 chain stitches. Then insert the hook into the front loop of this stitch. And pick up the strand on the left. And make 1 slip stitch. The picket stitch is now complete. Next, work 2 treble crochets and 1 double crochet in the adjacent stitch. After completing those, make 2 chain stitches. Then make 1 slip stitch in the next adjacent stitch. The second group is now complete. Everyone continue to finish the remaining 2 groups. For the last slip stitch of the final group, work into the first stitch of the previous round. This way, the first flower is now complete. Next, start working on the second flower. Begin with 10 chain stitches. Then insert the hook into the top half loop of the third chain from the hook. And make 1 slip stitch to join. Slightly tighten it. This way, the starting point for the second flower is now complete. Now work the first round. Make 1 beginning chain. Then work 6 single crochets into the space formed by these 3 chains. Note that the yarn tail should be above the chains. After completing, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. The first round is now complete. For the second round, work SC2 in 1S sequentially. Everyone finish the second round. Next, move on to the third round. First, work 2 chains. Then work 2 double crochets into the second stitch of the previous round. After that, work the next single crochet. This single crochet is specially marked on the chart. From the back of the first flower, insert into the second stitch of the second round. Pay attention. Insert from the back of the flower into the second round stitch. Work the crochet here, connecting it to the first flower. When working the single crochet at the marked position, make sure to connect it to the corresponding flower. After completing the connection, ensure that the right sides of both flowers are facing up. Then, in the stitch on the left side of the second flower, work 2 double crochets. Pay attention. The completed stitches should be on the right side. Make sure not to twist the two flowers. Next, work 2 chains. After completing, work 1 slip stitch in the left stitch. Then, work 2 chains. In the adjacent stitch, work 2 double crochets. Next, work 1 picket stitch. After completing, work 2 double crochets in the left stitch. Then, work 2 chains. Next, work 1 slip stitch on the left. Everyone, continue to complete this round. Similarly, for the last slip stitch, work it in the first stitch of the previous round. This way, the second flower is completed. Now, let's move on to the third flower. Start by making 10 chains. Then, insert the hook into the back loop of the third chain from the hook. Work 1 slip stitch to join. Pull tight. The starting chain is completed. Next, work the first round. Make 1 beginning chain. Then work 6 single crochets into the chain space. Pay attention to keeping the yarn tail above the starting chain. After completing, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Continue to finish the second round. Now, move on to the third round. Start by making 2 chains and 2 double crochets. Then, work 1 single crochet into the marked position. From the wrong side of the first flower, insert the hook into the 4th stitch of the second round and crochet. If you can't tell which is the first flower, take a look. The current loop connected to the chain belongs to the second flower. On the wrong side of the fabric, the single crochet connection indicates the first flower. And the first flower is slightly bigger. This way, the stitch in the marked position is completed. Then continue crocheting. Make sure the right sides of all flowers are facing up. Don't left them twisted. Crochet all the way to the stitch before the next marked position. Upon reaching the designated spot, pick up the second flower from the right side. This is the last stitch of the second round. Crochet 1 single crochet here. Note that you are crocheting on the right side. Then finish crocheting the remaining part. This way, the third flower is now complete. Move on to the fourth flower. First, complete the foundation chain, and the first 2 rounds using the same method as before. Now, crochet the third round. Start with 2 chains and 2 double crochets. After completing those, crochet a single crochet at the marked position. Note that you are crocheting on the wrong side of the first flower. Insert your hook into the 6th stitch of the second round. This is the same connection point as before. Skip 1 stitch. Then continue crocheting down to the next marked position. Upon reaching the correct position, from the right side, pick up the last stitch of the second round of the previous flower. Crochet a single crochet here. Pay attention. When connecting to the first flower, you are crocheting on the wrong side. When connecting to the remaining flowers, this is also done on the wrong side. It is all crocheted on the right side. Continue to finish crocheting the remaining part. This way, the fourth flower is completed. Moving down, everyone follows the same method, and continues crocheting all the way to the 7th flower. Stop at the stitch before the last marked double crochet. Upon reaching the correct position, then crochet the marked double crochet stitch. When crocheting this stitch, you need to connect it with the flower on the left side, which is the 2nd flower. Yarn over. Then insert your hook into the hole of the picket stitch on the left flower. Note that it's the picket stitch on the far right of this flower. Next, insert your hook into the corresponding stitch of the 7th flower. Complete this double crochet stitch. Then crochet 2 chain stitches and a slip stitch. This way, the 7th flower is also completed. Then crochet 6 chain stitches. Next, pick the yarn below the adjacent picket stitch of the left flower, either one thread behind the double crochet stitch underneath, or 2 threads. Crochet 1 slip stitch. This way, section 1 of large motif 2 is completed. Now, let's look at section 2. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise based on section 1. Please watch my demonstration. First, crochet the first round. Start with 6 chain stitches. Then pick the yarn below the adjacent picket stitch, either one thread behind the double crochet stitch underneath, or 2 threads. Crochet 1 slip stitch. Then crochet 3 chain stitches. Next, pick the chain stitch from the wrong side of the adjacent flower. Crochet 1 double crochet stitch. Then crochet 2 chain stitches. Then, on the left side, pick up the thread from the wrong side, and crochet 1 slip stitch. We treat the following as one group. 6 chain stitches, 1 slip stitch, 3 chain stitches, 1 double crochet stitch, 2 chain stitches, and 1 slip stitch. There are a total of 6 such groups in this round. Let me demonstrate another group. Start with 6 chain stitches. After completing, pick up the adjacent picket stitch. Pick the thread from the wrong side of the double crochet stitch below, and crochet 1 slip stitch. Then, crochet 3 chain stitches. Next, pick up the lock stitch from the wrong side, and crochet 1 double crochet stitch. Crochet 2 more chain stitches. Then, crochet 1 slip stitch. The second group is now complete. Everyone, continue to finish the remaining parts. For the last double crochet stitch of the final group, crochet in the adjacent chain position. Crochet the last slip stitch. Crochet in the chain space on the left side. This way, the first round is completed. Now, crochet the second round. Make 3 chains as the beginning chain. Then, crochet 5 double crochets in the same position below. After completing, crochet 3 double crochets in the chain position on the left side. Then, crochet 1 double crochet in the double crochet stitch on the left side. Next, crochet 2 double crochets in the chain position on the left side. Then, crochet 1 double crochet in the adjacent position. Then, make 3 chains for transition. Next, crochet 6 double crochets in the same position below. After completing, crochet 3 double crochets on the left side. Everyone continues to finish this round. The last double crochet is crocheted in the same large chain space as the beginning chain. This way, the second round is completed. Next, move on to the third round. Make 3 chains as a beginning chain. First, finish crocheting this side. That means continue all the way down the left side, crocheting the first 2 double crochets in each chain space. Until you reach the corresponding position. Start with 1 chain stitch. The middle chain stitch here has a special marker. When crocheting the stitch at the marked position, you need to connect it with the first large motif 1. Take out the first large motif 1. Place it right side facing up. Insert the hook into any chain space. Pay attention that the yarn tail should be on the left side of the hook. Then make 1 chain stitch. It's now connected here. Next, crochet 1 more chain stitch. Then crochet 2 double crochets in the chain space. The next double crochet also has a special mark, meaning it needs to connect with the first large motif 1. First, insert the hook into the third stitch from the left side of the first large motif 1. Again, make sure the yarn tail is on the left side, then yarn over. Insert the hook into the corresponding stitch of the second motif. Crochet 1 double crochet. 1 marked double crochet is now completed, and it has connected with the corresponding stitch of the first large motif 1. Next, crochet 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches on the left side. The next stitch also has a special mark. First, insert the hook into the third stitch from the left side of the first motif. Then yarn over. Insert the hook into the adjacent stitch of the second motif. Crochet 1 double crochet. For the long stitches at marked positions afterward, use this same method. Follow the pattern of connecting every 2 double crochets. Continue this all the way down to finish this edge. Make sure to skip 2 stitches between each pair of motifs. After completing the last 2 double crochets, crochet 1 chain stitch, then crochet 1 marked chain stitch. Insert the hook into the chain space of the first motif. Crochet 1 chain stitch. Follow with the 3rd chain stitch. This way, this edge is now connected. Continue to finish the remaining part of this round. Fasten off the yarn when done. Weave in the ends on the wrong side of the fabric. This way, the first large motif 2 is completed. The connection between the first 2 large motifs is also finished. Next, crochet the 3rd motif according to the joining diagram. Refer to the chart first. Combine it with the previous demonstration. Complete the first 5 rounds. Here, I will demonstrate using a sample swatch. Then move on to the first edge of the 6th round. That is, complete the first 2 double crochets in the left chain space. After completing, make 1 chain stitch, then crochet the chain stitch at the marked position. First, connect it to the first motif 1. Pay attention and check the joining diagram for the correct sequence. Here, you connect the edge closest to the left side of the second motif. Make sure not to connect in the wrong place. Continue following the pattern of connecting every 3rd double crochet. Finish connecting this edge. After completing the last 2 double crochets on this edge, make 1 chain stitch, then crochet the chain stitch at the marked position. The first 2 motifs are now connected here. Pick up 1 thread from each of the 2 motifs and insert your hook. Crochet 1 chain stitch. If you're unsure of the exact position, you can pick any 2 threads from this corner. Next, crochet the 3rd chain stitch. Continue downward. Finish the remaining part of this round. Pay attention to connecting this edge with the second motif. After completing, Cut the yarn. Then weave in the ends on the wrong side. This way. The third large motif is now connected. You can see that. For each large motif, we start connecting after finishing the first edge of the final round. Regardless of how many edges need to be connected, the method of connecting is the same. Moving on, everyone follow the arrangement of motifs on the chart to complete all the remaining large motifs. This way, the section for large motifs is now covered. After all the large motifs are connected, the next step is to add the small flowers. Referring to the layout diagram, there are 7 small flowers on each side. All of them start with the chain ring method. The first round is crocheted in rounds. The following rows are worked back and forth. When crocheting the last row, connect it to the corresponding large motif. Let's start with the motif on the inner edge. 2 sides need to be connected to the large motifs. Now, let's show. First, we'll crochet the first small motif. Start with a magic ring. After casting on, work the first round. Make 3 chains to start. Then chain 1 as a transition. Next, work 3 popcorn stitches in the ring. Work 2 chains between each popcorn stitch. Pay attention to weaving in the ends. After completing, make 1 chain, then work 1 double crochet. Follow with 3 more chains. Finally, make 1 slip stitch in the starting ring. Then chain 3. Join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Pull tight. This way, the first round is completed. Next, work the second row. Start by making 3 chains to begin. Then in the beginning chain of the previous round, work 1 double crochet, that is, in the same position, where you just joined with a slip stitch. Next, work 1 double crochet in the left chain space. Then chain 3. Continue to complete this row. Pay attention to the last double crochet. Insert the hook under 2 strands of the chain here. That is, the 2 strands on the left side of this double crochet stitch. The second row is now completed. Now, work the third row. Start with another chain of 3 for the turning chain. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. Then work a double crochet into the second to last stitch of the previous row. Continue to complete this row by following the chart. For the last stitch, again insert the hook under 2 strands of the beginning chain. This way, the third row is now completed. Everyone continue to complete the 4th and 5th rows. Now work the 6th row. This row needs to be connected to the corresponding large motif. Start with another chain of 3 for the turning chain. Turn the workpiece counterclockwise. Then work double crochets into each stitch, matching them up one by one. Continue all the way to the position of the chain space on the left side. Upon reaching the corresponding position, complete the 2 double crochets in the chain space first. Then make 1 chain stitch. When making the next chain stitch, connect it to the corresponding large motif. Place the large motifs in their correct positions first. Be mindful not to connect the wrong edges. Everyone continue to complete the remaining part. Note that both long edges need to be connected. After completing, fasten off the yarn and weave in the end. This way, a small motif 1 is completed. Next, let's work on the second small motif 1. Follow the previous demonstration first, and complete the first 5 rows. Then work the 6th row. Complete the first short edge and both long edges first. Both long edges should be connected to the corresponding large motifs. After completing, work the final short edge. When working this edge, you need to connect it to the adjacent small motif. The last stitch position also needs to be connected. When connecting small motifs in the future, always connect at the last stitch position to avoid notches along the edge. After completing, fasten off the yarn. Then weave in the end on the wrong side of the fabric. This way, the second small motif 1 is also completed. Next, after everyone has crocheted the inner side small motifs 1 along the outermost edge, crochet the 2 outermost small motifs 1. These 2 outermost small motifs 1 only need to connect 1 long edge and 1 short edge. The method of connection is the same. You can now crochet them on your own. This concludes the instructions for small motif 1. The crocheting of small motif 2 that follows is similar to the crocheting of small motif 1 using the chain ring method. Work the first round in a circle. For the following rows, work back and forth. Connect to the corresponding positions. When crocheting the last row, refer to the chart to complete all remaining motifs. This concludes the instructions for all motifs. Next, we will crochet the edging. Work around the outer edge of the blanket in rounds. The new stitch technique used is DC2 tog. Now, let's show. Take out the motifs that have been crocheted and connected. Here, I will demonstrate using a sample swatch. Place any side with 4 motif 2s facing up. Then, from the outermost double crochet, or the gap between beginning chains, join the yarn. Make a chain stitch to start, then work 2 single crochets in the same position. Next, we have the stitches. Work single crochets evenly into each stitch. When you reach the chain space position, work 2 single crochets in the chain space. After completing this, you'll reach the side of motif 2. Start working along the side with chain spaces and double crochets. First, pick up the entire double crochet and work 3 single crochets. Then, pick up the entire chain from the adjacent row and work 2 single crochets. Continue to the next adjacent row, pick up the entire double crochet and work 2 single crochets. Then, pick up the entire chain and work 2 single crochets. Next, pick up the entire double crochet and work 2 half double crochets. And 1 double crochet. After completing this, move to the sides of the adjacent row. Pick up the chain and work 2 double crochets. Continue to the adjacent row, pick up the chain, and work 1 double crochet and 2 half double crochets. Now, everyone continue to refer to the chart, and follow the method of working single crochets, along the edges and into the stitches. Complete this edge in this manner. After completing this section, you'll reach the corner. Pick up the edges double crochet and work 2 single crochets. Work 3 chains and 2 more single crochets. Then continue along the side, working the corresponding stitches. When you encounter the next corner, follow the same method to work the stitches. Continue to complete this round. When you reach the starting corner, in the same insertion point as the first 2 single crochets, work 2 more single crochets and 3 chains. Finally, join with a slip stitch into the first single crochet. This completes the first round. Now let's work on the second round. Start by making 3 beginning chains. Then work 1 chain. Skip 1 stitch. In the next stitch, work 1 double crochet, 1 chain. Repeat this process 2 more times. After completing, skip 1 stitch again, then work 3 double crochets in sequence. Followed by 5 chains. Skip 2 stitches and then work 3 double crochets. Now follow this method. Refer to the pattern to complete this edge. After finishing, you'll reach the corner chain space. In the chain space, work 2 double crochets. Then 3 chains and 2 more double crochets. The stitches worked in the chain space will serve as the corner for this round. Continue following the method for edges and corners. Complete this round. After finishing the last corner, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Pull tight. This completes the second round. Leave a tail and cut the yarn. Hide the yarn tail on the wrong side. Now, let's work the third round. Take the corresponding color yarn. At the chain space of the last corner from the previous round, pick up 2 strands of yarn from the middle chain and join. Then make 3 chain stitches for the beginning chain. Work 2 more chain stitches. Next, work a double crochet into the position of the beginning chain from the previous round. Then continue by referring to the pattern. Work double crochets in the corresponding stitches and chains. After that, work 2 chain stitches. Next is the chain space from the previous round. Pick up 2 strands of yarn from the middle chain. Work 1 double crochet. Make 5 chain stitches. And work 1 double crochet. Following this method. Continue by referring to the pattern. After completing this round, when you encounter the chain spaces at the corners, follow the same method. Pick up 2 strands of yarn from the middle chain, and work the same stitch technique. Continue crocheting. When you reach the starting position, continue by picking up this chain and working 1 double crochet. Make 5 chain stitches. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Pull tight. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Hide all the yarn tails on the wrong side. This completes the 3rd round. Now, let's move on to the 4th round. Take out the corresponding color yarn. First, join the yarn in the chain space, where you fastened off in the previous round. Then, make 4 chain stitches to start. These 4 chains count as 1 treble crochet. Next, work 1 treble crochet in the same position, where you joined the yarn. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over again. Draw through the first 2 loops on the hook. Repeat this 3 times. This completes 1 treble crochet. Work another treble crochet in the same position. After completing it, make 2 chain stitches. Then skip the next 2 stitches and the turning chain. Pick up the stitch from the adjacent stitch and chain space. Work 5 double crochets in sequence. After completing them, make 2 more chain stitches. Then, in the chain space of the previous 5 chains on the left side, work 10 treble crochets. After completing them, make 2 more chain stitches. Continue using this method. Refer to the pattern. Work this round completely. When you encounter a corner chain space, work 10 treble crochets in the chain space as well. Continue crocheting. Once all the treble crochets in the chain spaces are completed, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain and pull tight. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn, then weave in the ends. This completes the 4th round. Now let's work on the 5th round. First, join the yarn at the position of the beginning chain from the previous round. Then, make 3 chains as a beginning chain. Next, work 2 more chains. Then, insert your hook into the entire beginning chain, and work 3 double crochets. Next, work 1 double crochet into the first stitch of these 5 double crochets. Then, work 2 more chains. Next, pick up the entire double crochet, work 3 double crochets. I will work these 4 double crochets and 2 chains together. Treat this as one pattern. Then skip 2 stitches. Work a DC2 tog. First, on the left side, in each of the next 2 stitches, work an incomplete double crochet. Then yarn over, and draw through all the loops on your hook once. That completes 1 DC2 tog. Next, on the left side, in the next 2 chain stitches, work a DC2 tog. First, insert the hook under 1-2 strands of each of these 2 chain stitches. Work an incomplete double crochet. Then yarn over and draw through all the loops on your hook once. The DC2 tog is now complete. Next, in the stitches corresponding to these 10 treble crochets, work the pattern. After completing them, continue with this method below. To finish this round, when you reach the 10 treble crochets at the corner, follow the same method. Work the pattern. Continue crocheting. After completing the last pattern, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. If you're not sure about the exact position here, an approximation is fine. Tighten. Leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the end. This completes the 5th round. The edging is now fully explained. Up to this point, the making method for this blanket has been fully explained. If you have any unclear parts during the process, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get support. Susan's family. Support your handwork experience. Enjoy the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.